So, back to the topic today, 5 ways you're already practicing yoga and didn't even know it. So, I'm doing this, or I'm talking about this because I love yoga and I want to educate people and share yoga to as many people as I can. And I want to tell people that there's more to yoga than just poses, and you're already practicing yoga when I tell you these 5 things today. And it may surprise you, it may not. I want to share that you're already working towards your goals of yoga, which is having mental and spiritual freedom and a life full of contentment and purpose. That is the whole purpose of practicing yoga. I know we see a lot of poses all over the place, magazines, TV. I think whenever people think of yoga, we see a lot of pretty poses, maybe in pretzel shapes or handstands and things like that. But I just want to let you know that not everybody's yoga looks like that. Not everybody practices physical poses or are able to, but there are a lot more things in yoga than that. So if you're liking what I'm saying, tap the screen maybe with your peace fingers like this and leave me some hearts. It lets me know that you do like what I'm saying, and it gives me more encouragement to keep going. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, so here we go with the 5 things you're already doing or practicing. So let me give you a little bit of history about yoga and where these 5 things come from. So a long time ago, like 400 AD, this guy named an Indian scholar named Patanjali wrote down the mostly oral tradition of yoga into a text, into one text. So he consolidated it, and he talks about the 8 limbs or 8 stages of yoga, and the yoga poses that we know of today. There's actually just they're a part of it. They're actually the 3rd stage, not the 1st stage. So when I was first learning it, that surprised me. Okay, and let's see where I'm at. I'm reading my notes. Oh yeah, Patanjali wrote down this text about the 8 paths of yoga. So what I'm talking about today is the first part or the 1st stage called the yamas, or the attitudes toward the world. And you're probably already doing these 5 things. And the first thing that I'm talking, the first thing that you're probably already doing, you're probably a yogi when you practice non-harming. So non-harming means not doing any harm to anybody, yourself, other people, living creatures, things like that. So basically being kind. So examples of this: not being violent in your actions, words, or thoughts towards others or yourself. So physical violence, emotional violence, road rage. So not engaging in road rage, not gossiping, behind people's backs, or, insulting them in front of their face. Or negative self-talk. That's stuff that says, or you tell yourself, you're not good enough to do this, or, you're not attractive enough, things like that. So the first way that you're probably already practicing yoga is non-harming or being kind. So it's the equivalent of the golden rule. So treating others like you want to be treated. And it's not necessarily black and white, like rules or commandments or things like that, because life isn't black and white. There's a lot of gray. So it's what works for you. Because a lot of yogis would think, oh, non-harming means I have to be vegetarian or vegan or things like that. Yes, you can do that, but only if it works for you. You can still be vegetarian and still be kind to your animals, or eat meat, or and still be kind. Hi, Kanka 5277. And also, being kind doesn't mean you don't have to be a doormat. You are allowed to defend yourself when you're being attacked. Okay, number 2. Number 2 is truthfulness. So you're already practicing yoga when you're being truthful. So a simple definition of it is not lying to others, not straight out lying, not lying by omission, not gossiping about others, not lying to yourself or living in denial about something. Like, for example, if you're in pain and you're like, oh yeah, it'll go away, and not do anything about it, and then it turns out to be something. Or like, oh yeah, that mole, it's a little fuzzy, it's a little raised, it's got stuff all around it. It'll be okay, and not going and getting treated. So being truthful like that. Let's see what else. So being truthful to yourself is living a life where, or you'll hear this, living your truth or finding your path through experience and reflection. So the opposite of that is if you're just doing what people are telling you to do or living your life how other people's want and then you feel miserable about it. Yeah, that's not being truthful. Number 3 is non-stealing. So not stealing other people's stuff or their money. That's the easy definition, but you can also not steal people's space, people's energy or attention. Let's see what examples I have for that. Oh, people's taking credit for someone else's work. That's stealing. Let's this one, taking to parking spaces, that's stealing space, or parking illegally where you're not supposed to, or whatever. Parking in handicap when you're not handicapped, or you don't have the permission to, or whatever. Right? That's stealing space, or stealing someone's energy, meaning you're stealing someone's thunder. So I was just talking about not stealing other people's energy, being an energy vampire. Yes, exactly. Like the Ten Commandments. Exactly. So not stealing someone's thunder. I guess a simple example is someone's telling a joke and you beat them to the punchline or something like that, right? Number 4 is abstinence. So abstinence not necessarily means stop having sex, because in our modern society, that's pretty difficult, right? Yeah. But back then they have, the very strict yogis that, went up in the mountains or hid themselves in caves and abstained from everything that gave them pleasure, basically. So what this means, this abstinence, we could take it as using your sexual energy, having boundaries. They had a they had a cave person up there. Oh, I don't know what that means. Could you expand on that? Okay, so being aware of how you use your sexual energy, because it's all around us, it's in our culture, it's all over media and movies and all that stuff. So being responsible for what you desire and need, and that doesn't necessarily mean just sex. That means like alcohol, sugar, not having too much of a good thing. Even like Netflix, too much of a good thing. Number 5, the last one, the 5th way you're already practicing yoga and didn't even know it, is practicing greedlessness. So greediness is what? Not being happy with what you have, looking at what others have and wanting what they have, and then when you do get it, or you do get it, you're happy for a little bit, and then the buzz wears off, and then you move on to the next thing, and you just keep going in that cycle over and over again. I desire other women like my neighbor's wife. Right. Right, like that commandment. So when you curve those greedy tendencies, like, hoarding shoes or clothes or handbags or power tools or electronics or things like that, that's when you practice greedlessness. So being satisfied with what you have and having gratitude for what you already have. That's practicing Hey, Tave. Practicing greedlessness. So I just finished going over the 5 ways you're already practicing yoga and didn't even know it. So I'm going to go over it again real quick. If you just joined, hello. Wow, I am faithful. I need it. Oh, thanks for the hearts. Okay, so 5 ways you're already practicing yoga and didn't even know it. Number one is when you're being kind, so not harming yourself and others or any any living being or even people's property. It doesn't have to be living, right? Number two, being truthful. So being truthful to others, not lying, and not lying to yourself. Three, non-stealing. So not stealing other people's stuff or money or time or energy or attention or space. And the example I use for that is not taking up 2 parking spaces. Yeah. No, you cannot steal your neighbor's wife. Four, abstinence. Hi, Cher. Hi, Carolina. Number four is abstinence. So that not necessarily just sex, just abstaining from something um, that gives you pleasure. So too much of a good thing. Hey. And number five, greedlessness. Can I steal your good vibes? No, you can share my good vibes. Let's share the good vibes. How about that?